The Amped Up Show, Thursday, October 30 of the year 2025. And we got a big show on tap for you today. For the first time that BC is aware of, WWE, or should I say TKO, has been forced to lower their ticket prices due to zero demand. This is a giant first step in letting TKO know that if they continue down this path of disrespecting, dismissing, and discrediting their fans' loyalty, this will be the outcome going forward. We'll talk all about it. And I got some thoughts on last night's AEW Dynamite. I was only able to check in on Dynamite a couple, 2-3 times. But damn, it was a night and day difference from this Dynamite compared to last week's. And that's a good thing. We talk all about it. It's amped up. It's BC. It's the unit. Grab your beverages, sit back, max, and relax while BC drops them facts. Ow! Let's get into it. I don't want to waste any time. Let's get right into this big story, man. WWE dropped ticket prices for the first time that I'm aware of. Now, as of now, it's just for this show. But this is a giant step. This is the first time. And I believe it is South Carolina that stepped up and said, no, thank you. We think we'll pass. And WWE flinched, panicked, and lowered their prices. I want to show you guys the arena. This is for SmackDown next Friday. So we're talking, 8 days away from this upload. SmackDown November 7th, Greenville, South Carolina, the Bon Wellness Arena. It is a 15,000 seat capacity for a pro wrestling show, 12 to 13, I'd say. That's not a lot. If WWE is doing the business they are claiming, and the product is so hot, and there's such demand, 12 to 13,000 for South Carolina. It's a hotbed for pro wrestling. Not so fast. You see there's a lot of seats left. Right? You see that in this pic. You see there's a lot of seats left. They're just 8 days away, a week from tomorrow. But you may also be thinking, at least they sold a lot of tickets too, BC, right? Look at all that gray. That means those are tickets sold, right, BC? Not so fast. In fact, not at all. In fact, it's the opposite. That entire right side that you are seeing, that is completely gray, that has not even hit the market. What that means is there is literally zero demand for that SmackDown ticket in South Carolina. That whole right side has not hit the market. So what WWE then does when there is no demand is they put a full block on all of the hard cam side, and they put on a full blitz on the reverse, which is the TV side. This way, on TV, the arena will look full. Because that D-cam, which is the arena cam, it's always tucked in the northeast corner. You guys will see it on the shows. It's always in the corner of the arena, northeast usually. And it'll pan around the arena. And when they don't have half of the side filled, you will notice that they're really just, even though it's a corner cam, they're just focusing on the TV side in the set still. They're not panning to the left. All of hard cam will be blocked off or tarped when there is zero demand. Subsequently, behind the SmackDown set, all sections will be blocked off or tarped, even the higher sections, which if there is demand, only the SmackDown set sections and behind, those that are too obstructed, you can't even sell the ticket. That would be blocked off anyway. The higher sections would be on the market. But you can see here how it is totally gray, even those sections. have not hit market. Those will be tarped off. Why? Because they can't even sell the TV side. Those sections will only start to open up if and only if the tickets on the TV side are sold. And as you can see, only 8 days away, it's not looking good for WWE. Now, the best part in all of this, if you are a fan, is that for the first time since the TKO takeover, World Wrestling Entertainment has been forced, TKO has been forced to lower ticket prices because South Carolina decided to no-sell this event, to no-sell this show. They said, no, we will not pay an obnoxious amount of cash to watch a subpar product and show. Greenville, South Carolina decided, no, it is not worth going there, waiting hours to see mid-gym in a main event. And even if you promote Jey Uso, they don't want to yeet for 20 minutes with Yeeterman. They don't want to go Cody Rhodes, and they don't want to watch a Sami Zayn banger. They don't want to see another open challenge, whether it's Sami Zayn, Dragunov, or a member from the LWO. Are they still a thing? Greenville, South Carolina doesn't care. They said no. And because they no-sold this show, that is only 8 days away, WWE has been forced to lower most seat costs up to 20%. So you can now afford to sit in the very last row of the arena for $54. After taxes, $70. I think most fees are included. Applicable taxes, $70. Still pretty steep for a seat that you'll have to have your binoculars with you to see the wrestlers that look like ants down below. You'll watch most of the show with the giant screens hanging from above. So you might as well just watch at home, or at least you can fall asleep comfortably from this show. Or if it's so bad, at least go outside and throw yourself into traffic. So I don't know why you'd even spend $70 to go to this show. But at least it's not $1,000 or $500, $750 to be in the very last row of the arena. And even a front row seat, while still obnoxious, is semi-manageable at $440 sem-odd, under $5 post-tax. So a WWE TV event front row won't cost you $1,000. This is huge. Now, of course, WWE will pack the arenas of the big city markets like LA, Boston, Chicago, and those arenas where there's a bit more of a demand, like in New Mexico. And I bring up those cities or states because WWE was either recently there or is going to be. Like Monday, recently they were in LA, and I believe they're going to be in Boston and New Mexico coming up for the Red Brand, and early 2026 is Chicago. So you'll most likely see packed houses there. Sellouts, that's another story. But I'm sure you'll be hearing Sleepy Joe Tessitore scream 30 times a show how they're sold out. Like he did this past Monday in LA, when we have confirmation that show was not sold out. But I don't even blame WWE for claiming that it was, because they have been waiting, clamoring for the chance to tell you that one of their shows is sold out, because they haven't had that chance a lot in 2025. Even the shows that are outside the US that were selling out pretty easily even a year ago are not selling out anymore. The demand for a WWE ticket is starting to lessen. So even these big city markets where it looks like a packed house and that D-cam can at least pan left, still not a sellout. So yeah, this is a massive first step Because what this tells us is that when fans actually do stop giving WWE their money, the company will be forced to cave and start being more reasonable to what was once a very loyal audience, but now is just a pissed off audience. Because if WWE, if TKO doesn't go about business more properly, this is how your arenas are going to look going forward. And eventually, those big markets like Boston and LA and Chicago, or where there is high demand like in New Mexico, eventually they will start to crumble as well. The whole point of canceling house shows wasn't just to lessen the work rate for your wrestlers. It was so there'd be a higher demand for your TV shows and your PLEs. That was the whole point. Take away house shows, which wasn't bringing in that much revenue anyway, and higher the ticket prices for your television and your PLEs. Because now that WWE isn't coming to these towns as often, it heightens the demand. But that game plan is now backfiring. That's starting to crumble. They got too greedy. And if you think Greenville, South Carolina is going to be the only town to step up, or South Carolina is going to be the only state to step up and say, we're no-selling you, nah. This is just the first of many if WWE doesn't change their practices. I wouldn't be shocked 8 days away if they lower these prices even more, if they give radio stations and local shows free tickets to give away, because that's what happens usually. They're going to try to fill this arena as best they can. And if that means giving away tickets under disguise, which means not actually saying WWE is just giving comp tickets, but we just all of a sudden opened up 400 more tickets to radio stations. And local morning shows, here's 300 tickets to give away. That adds up. I mean, that's another $1,000. $1,000, 1,000 seats. Will fans want to go to this show even for free when you can sleep in a cozy bed or on the couch? Because that's what they're going to end up doing. Falling asleep. With how bad these shows are, WWE should be paying fans to show up. And that's not for a laugh. Oh, that's a good one, BC. No, I literally mean these shows are a chore to get through. You feel like you are working to watch a Raw, a SmackDown, or one of their stupid PLEs, which there's nothing premium about them. If you're wondering why there's this early blitz for WrestleMania, this huge ad campaign, these commercials, these vignettes, the big WrestleMania 42 posters with Hunter Hearst Helmsley in the middle, by the way. Not just on them, but most of this promotional material has the chief of creative and content, Helmsley, in the middle of it all. Why is he in the middle? You're the chief of creative and content, bro, and you suck at it. Just stay behind with your headset on and just try to do work. Stop trying to be the face of the company. But anyway, if you're wondering why you're seeing this blitz all of a sudden, it's October. What are they? Are they panicking? Are they not getting enough advanced ticket sales? That's exactly what is happening. Their estimates are 30 to 40% down from last year's Vegas Mania. That's what we are hearing. Their early estimates are 30 to 40% down. TKO, their little antlers just went up. Uh-oh. But very well done, South Carolina. I just wish that more people wake up and stop giving WWE your money. These shows are obnoxiously priced. You're not getting a return on your investment at all. I don't care if you got the kids and they want to yeet with Jey Uso. Save your damn money. put it toward their college fund or something. That's what I'll tell you. I'm trying to tell you, these shows are not worth it. To sing along and dance, go to a Chuck E. Cheese, and you can save yourself thousands. I want to switch gears over to AEW Dynamite last night. I wasn't able to catch a lot at all. In fact, I only was able to turn over a couple, 2-3 times. Just very, very busy. But when I did, I had to put the remote down for a little bit because I was like, oh, okay. Like there was one moment I saw Mercedes and Athena together. I think they were in something with, Willow and Harley were out there. They were chasing them off. And just looking at just two of my faves in this industry, and I know that's an unpopular take today, man, if you thought fans were just annihilating Sasha Banks in the past, Mercedes Moné, oh, people are not liking this belt collector gimmick, man. I feel if it was done more properly and she wasn't winning all her matches via roll-up or most of them, there's been a lot of botches. I don't mind the gimmick at all. If anybody's going to do it, Mercedes, who's one of, if not the best to do this female-wise. And I know that's another hot take. No, Beasley. What? I'm not going over that again. We're not doing that again. Mercedes Moné is really good at what she does. And if her gimmick is winning all these titles, most of which most fans have not even heard of these promotions. So what does it matter to you if she's holding 20 titles, 60 titles? If all of them are a camera or they're in the back, who cares? I care about the booking. And are we invested in what she's doing? That is not the case. The gimmick is fine. The booking has to back up the gimmick, and I can't say that it is. So I hear you. Some of the Mercedes bashing is a little overboard, man, with all the issues that all of these companies have. Like Mercedes Moné is the biggest problem in AEW or all of pro wrestling is absolutely laughably sad. Of course she's not. She's incredible. Athena is incredible. And you just look at them together. I hate just taking singles wrestlers and putting them together for no reason. Sometimes it's just magic, though. Typhoon and Earthquake just worked. Who would have thought Ted DiBiase and IRS would just work? And Athena and Mercedes it's like peanut butter and jelly. If you look at peanut butter and jelly, you're like, you don't put that together. That's weird. It's peanut butter. Completely different texture, completely different everything. And jelly? But some Yahoo was like, let's put it together. It's all I have. He put it together. He's like, this is good. I'm going to tell people. And people were like, you're stupid, but for $20, I'll do it. And they tasted it, and it was amazing. And then before you know it, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to all. Athena and Mercedes. You put them together, it's cheese and it's macaroni. So I saw them last night, and I just was like, yes, man, this I can actually take the tag titles because ain't nobody beating. There's nobody beating Mercedes and Athena together. Let's be honest. You could put Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss up against them. It ain't happening. Athena and Mercedes Moné are two of the best to do this. But there ain't nobody beating them, right? And I'm sure that's going to infuriate so many fans if that actually happens and they win tag titles. I am sure of it. But, because if you guys don't know, if you truly don't know, man, Mercedes is getting the Mox treatment, where so many fans are, quote, fed up and they're just done with it, and she sucks and she's boring, but I'm over here dude, these companies have so many issues. If you think Mercedes is one of the bigger issues, it's laughable. She gets, most weeks she gets 5 minutes of airtime tops. Most weeks. And maybe that's the issue. Maybe she needs more. But she doesn't get that much of the TV time every week. And she's one of the biggest complaints because she's holding all of these titles to which most of these promotions, most fans have never even heard of. So how does this bother you? The booking in it, yes, absolutely. That's got to step up. The gimmick is not the issue. Who cares if she has 100 titles? And if she if she gets that title from Stat, oh man, so much of this community will burn at that point. They will be flipping. But so far, Mercedes, she put over Tony Storm. Tony walked away with that championship. It's no harm, no foul. So if she wants to hold, if Mercedes is holding the TBS or the TNT or the USA or the freaking Lifetime or the Nickelodeon championship, who cares? It's not like she's not believable, realistic, and good enough to hold these titles. You guys are acting, some of you guys act like this is Maxine Dupree holding 20 titles. Anyway, I hear you guys, man. If the booking was better and there was more investment, yeah, that'd be better for all, especially Mercedes. They've botched it a lot. But watching Mercedes and Athena together, if you're talking tag team wrestling, there's got to be, even if you can't stand the whole Mercedes trajectory, there's got to be a piece of you that's looking at these two and going, damn, who's going to beat them? There ain't nobody. It's not going to be Julia Hart and Sky Blue, as much as I love Sky Blue and all of her assets, if you know what I'm talking about. As much as Megan Bayne is a beast, she can have Penelope Ford, you could bring back Saraya and Thunder Rosa. It won't matter. Mercedes and Athena is like a super team. Anyway, I tuned in just as like Willow and them were chasing them off, but they were showing Mercedes and Athena in the aisleway, and I was just like, damn, TK could be throwing tag titles on them. And while so many will be complaining if that happens, BC will not be one of them. And there was another, I think most of the main event, they were trying to come up with a number one contender for Hangman Adam Page for Full Gear. And Samoa Joe ended up winning this thing. Bobby Lashley, he was right there in this matchup. But Ricochet was like a thorn in his side, so it was Samoa Joe that ended up winning. I think he tapped out Hook. So what was it? It was like a Fatal 4, right? Yeah, he tapped out Hook. Ricochet was taking up too much of Bobby Lashley's time, and by the time Lashley got back to the ring, Hook was already tapping out. It was mistimed. Lashley could have gotten his ass in the ring, but he had to keep waiting because Hook wasn't tapping out fast enough. So he was like crawling like an old lady to get on the ring apron, and then finally Hook taps out. Anyway, I stayed on it because I was like, I want to see where this goes because I just think Samoa Joe is a captivating individual. So Tony Schiavone is interviewing Samoa Joe post-match and talking about being the number one contender to Hangman's title, Full Gear, there's beers in the ring, and Tony Schiavone brings out all of the, what were they calling this? Fright Night? Freak Night? Scary Night? I forgot what it was. It was like a Halloween themed thing. So they brought out a bunch of costume characters that were like there throughout the night. There was a chicken. There was the Marshmallow Michelin Man. And there was a couple other like puffed out Halloween outfit dudes. And they all come to the ring. The chicken was hilarious. The chicken couldn't get through the ropes. No lie. So BC was legit. It was an LOL moment, man. I was laughing my ass off because this chicken couldn't get in the ring. So, like, one of the other characters had to, like, kind of like a bear or something. I don't know what it was. He was trying to help the chicken, but the chicken's head got caught between the... So the chicken's head is totally now broke to the left. So when he gets in the ring, his head is just wobbling to the left. The chicken is out of commission. It was so... Oh, come on, man. That was so funny. So Joe... Because BC's thinking, oh man, are they gonna do like they did before with Hangman as one of the, is Hangman the chicken or is he once again the Marshmallow Man? So I like how they did this, right? Because if you don't know, before Hangman was the Marshmallow Man. And they did this whole thing a year ago. So Joe was like, before I sign this, I just want to make sure I'm safe doing it. Boys, get them. So Hobbs and company start just taking out all of these costume characters, man. Because one of them is Hangman, right? According to Joe, or he just wants to make sure that's not the case. So the chicken goes flying first through the ropes because he can't get over. Then he gets tossed over the ropes. Michelin Man, or whatever you call him, the marshmallow guy, just gets walloped. All of them, none of them, I should say, is Hangman Adam Page. So Page just says, sorry, boys, for the carnage. He did apologize. He's like, just got to cover all bases. Sorry, boys, for the carnage. I thought that was so well done. And then he signs the contract, and Tony Schiavone is on the mic, and he's talking about how it's now, and it's Tony Schiavone's voice, and he's talking about how it's official, and he's behind him, and he's got a beer, he's going to toast Joe. But it's quickly evident, wait a second, the words aren't exactly matching Schiavone's mouth. Wait a second. That's Hangman Adam Page behind Joe as Tony Schiavone, who had one of those, like, Phantom of the Opera type masks on, where half of it is like a white mask. And sure enough, it's Page, and he clocks Joe with a beer bottle upside the dome piece. Now, if you look vividly, Joe was actually busted from that. He had some blood on his in several areas. So he got walloped with that beer bottle. Guys, it was Hangman as Tony Schiavone. It was so well done. Guys, he even had a little pot belly, a little beer belly. That Schiavone had, you know how Schiavone has a little belly under that suit jacket? He put like a pillow or some cushion. So he had the belly, the hair slicked. It was so well done. I have not even, nor will I, try to gauge the community on how well or not well this was received. Because I'm sure, for those that don't like AEW anyway, they just want to see it fail or whatnot, they're going to totally trash this. It was cringe, it was corny, it was this, it was that. BC absolutely loved it. Was it some of those things? To a degree? Absolutely it was. That's pro wrestling. That's always been pro wrestling. I once saw the Big Boss Man dragging the Big Show on his father's casket through a cemetery. I once saw Doink the Clown take his arm off and start beating Crush with it. I once saw Steve Austin, Stone Cold, fight Booker T in a supermarket. I saw Ronda Rousey, Charlie Flair, and Becky Lynch in a cop car circus, and it was fun. I saw Stone Cold stunner Santa Claus. I saw an Easter Bunny wrestle. That's pro wrestling, man, and their moments. And it's okay to have fun with it. We can't just sit back and giggle over some backstage segments with Carlito or R-Truth. Sometimes it can just be loose and you can have some fun with it. It's got to make sense. It's a Halloween-themed event. They had some costumes out. Vince McMahon once had the gobbledygooker out. Do you guys remember that? It's probably best if you don't, but it's a memory. And for some reason, I don't know why, I'm glad it's a memory. I'll never forget that turkey, chicken, whatever, popping out of that egg. True story, by the way. Undertaker tells a story that was going to be him. He was going to be popping out of the egg at one point. Thankfully, they changed direction. It made sense, man. And they tied in the fact that Hangman was once the Marshmallow Man beforehand. So they all got beat on, walloped. And come on, the Tony Schiavone thing is just fun. That was well done. And for the most part, they matched up Schiavone's voice with Hangman. I mean, the thought that goes into it, the thought that went into that. I love it. That's what I want. Care about what you're doing. Have fun doing what you're doing. That's what we are missing. Not just stupid giggles and laughs. I'm sick of the giggly comedy. But when you're having fun, you can put every emotion into a segment. You can laugh a little bit. You can go, damn! Didn't see that coming. You can do that a little bit. That serious side should be there as well. When Hangman is walloping away on Samoa Joe and knocking him out with that beer bottle, you had a little bit of everything. That is what I call a complete segment. The thought that goes into that, to match up the words and to have Hangman and Schiavone, I mean, who thinks of that? People that are having fun, that's who. That actually enjoy what they're doing, and the show or the segment doesn't seem repetitive, doesn't put you to sleep. Very well done. I don't care how that's being received in the community. That was well done. It was fun. There was thought put into it. And at the end of the day, I'm going to remember now the setup to this matchup. That's something I cannot say most of the time. Especially in the other company. They just make matches. They do 3 promos. Every week a promo or brawl. Or both. Promo, brawl. Get to the match. Take your money, put on the match, go on to the next. But these are the setups that you actually remember, even if subconsciously. Because it was different. I cannot praise it enough. I thought that was so well. It was a TV show. It was a segment on a TV show. And it progressed the professional wrestling match for the pay-per-view. And they did it in a fun, unique, badass way. Well done. And there was one other time, too, I tuned in and they had like the Callis family all in the ring. And I think there was this giant poster of maybe it was all of the Callis family, which is like all 900 of them, I believe. And at that moment, I couldn't actually put the remote down. I was actually in some business that had to be attended to at that point. And it sucked because I actually wanted to listen in. But I like how they took the time with that as well. They had this Callis family poster presentation. And it looked like this heated moment between the family, but I couldn't watch. So my point is, I saw a lot of variety for what I did see on Dynamite last night. I bring this up and I talk about this for several minutes in this upload because if you guys caught my last upload just yesterday, and that went up late, amped up for the 29th of October, that went up for most of you guys after Dynamite went live last night. So I know that was a very late upload for Amped Up. But several thousand of you guys have already caught that, so thank you for the support. That's badass. But I talked about how Dynamite last week, it just felt so... It had nothing to it. It was a bunch of multi-person schmaz matches. The ladies in the 8-man tag. There was 2 6-man tags for the dudes. A main event of Bandito and who knows who else. Once I saw that, I just totally tuned out. And the rating came in and it was at a 470 some odd. And they dropped 50,000 from the week before. I'm not shocked. Now, it'll be interesting. I don't know what this rating is going to tell because interest for pro wrestling up front, even SmackDown, just lost another 40 some odd thousand viewers. So interest is down across the board. I always say, I never use it as an excuse, but I always say, yeah, it's going to be a punch to your product. The World Series, and it is a heated series between Dodgers and Blue Jays. That was going right up against AEW last night. And again, that's never an excuse. You put your best foot forward and you hope for the best. Put it to the boards. Legit all gas, no brake. But yeah, that's going to punch them as well. So what AEW has to do here, no matter what the number is going to be, is hope that there was enough buzz for it. Hopefully enough of this show is being talked about so that from this show, maybe next week can start to see a real improvement. But I'm sure they're going to really hope that this show, even against World Series, will go back over $500,000. Once again, I'm sure they're hoping for that because this show was absolutely, from what I saw, which wasn't even that much, better than last week, and that's just from what I saw, and I saw most of last week, so that tells you something. I love to see companies or shows move in the right direction. Well done, AEW, last night, and who knows? Who knows if that's going to continue or not, but something was in I don't know, their Halloween-themed event, man. Everybody just had a lot more fun. Maybe they all like Halloween. Maybe that's their favorite holiday. Who knows? Good job, though, man. And at least it gave BC something to, like, laugh about and go, oh, that was good. And go, oh, shoot, that's a good setup to that match. I don't get to do that often. So I think that's why I'm thanking Tony Khan and AEW for last night. I got to do that during the ending of Dynamite. I got to actually enjoy and be invested in what I was watching. What a concept! That's the Amped Up Show. It's the 30th of October of the year 2025. I, of course, your host, BC. You, the greatest audience in the world, the Amplified Unit. Until next time, and there will be that next time. BC saying check you. Unit, salute.